Can a psychic do a 7-day spiritual cleansing without you present? Breakup healing and spiritual wisdom. Have you ever found yourself staring at your phone at 2 in the morning, wondering if a psychic somewhere can wave a magic wand and fix your love life? Well, that was me last week. My heart felt like it had been put through a blender. My mind was running wild with what-ifs, and my search history looked like a spiritual emergency room. Can a psychic do a 7-day spiritual cleansing without you present? That question kept bouncing around my head like a rubber ball in a tiny room. Welcome to Fire Spiritual, your cozy corner for untangling life, as messiest knots with a little wisdom and a lot of heart. If you have ever felt desperate enough to try anything to get someone back, stick around. This story might just save you a lot of heartache and maybe even a few bucks. Let me start at the beginning. The breakup was ugly. Not the kind of ugly where you throw plates and scream. No, this was the silent, slow burn kind. The kind where you wake up one morning and realize the person you love is already gone, even if they are still sitting across the table from you. I tried everything. Heartfelt texts, awkward run-ins at the grocery store, and even that playlist of sad songs you hope will make them miss you. Nothing worked. So in a moment of heartbreak-fueled bravery, or maybe madness, I decided to look into a 7-day spiritual cleansing. Now, I had heard stories. Friends of friends who swore their psychic worked miracles. One girl claimed her boyfriend came back with flowers and a new attitude after a week of incense and chanting. Another said her ex texted her out of the blue, apologizing for everything, right after her cleansing ended. It sounded magical, like something out of a movie. But I could not help but wonder, how does this even work if I am not there? Can a psychic really do a 7-day spiritual cleansing for me from a distance, while I am at home eating ice cream and binge-watching old sitcoms? Here is where things get interesting. The psychic I found online, let's call her Madame Luna, promised she could cleanse my aura, heal my heart, and even nudge my ex back into my life, all without me lifting a finger. She said she would light candles, recite ancient prayers, and send waves of positive energy my way. All I had to do was send her a picture and my birth date. Seemed easy enough, right? But as the days went by, I started to notice something. I was still sad. My phone was still silent. My ex was still a ghost. I kept waiting for that magical moment when everything would shift, but all I got was a lighter wallet and a lingering sense of disappointment. That is when I remembered something my grandmother used to say: if you want to change your world, start by changing yourself. Wise words from a woman who survived 2 wars and could make a mean pot of soup. So I decided to try something different. Instead of outsourcing my healing to a stranger with a crystal ball, I turned inward. I took a vow not for 7 days, but for 11. Every morning, before the sun had even thought about rising, I would get up, take a quick shower, and light a candle. I would spend an hour in quiet meditation, sometimes praying, sometimes just sitting with my thoughts. In the evenings, as the world turned golden and quiet, I would do it all over again. I gave up meat, skipped the white lies, and tried to keep my life as simple as possible. I even started reading a few lines from ancient spiritual texts, sometimes the Bible, sometimes the words of other great teachers. And you know what? Something did start to change. Not in my ex, but in me. The pain did not vanish overnight, but it softened. The desperate urge to control everything started to fade. I found myself smiling at strangers, helping out at the local soup kitchen, and even feeding a few stray cats who had taken up residence on my porch. The world seemed a little brighter, a little kinder, and I started to remember who I was before heartbreak turned me into a puddle of anxiety. One morning, as I was walking around the local temple just circling, breathing, letting the rhythm of my footsteps quiet my mind, I realized I was not thinking about my ex at all. I was thinking about the future, about new possibilities, about the person I was becoming. It was like I had been carrying a heavy backpack for months, and suddenly I could set it down. Now, do not get me wrong. There is nothing wrong with seeking help when you are hurting. Sometimes we all need a little guidance. But here is the thing. True spiritual cleansing does not come from someone else waving a feather over your photo. It comes from showing up for yourself, day after day, even when it is hard. It comes from facing your pain, not running from it. It comes from trusting that you are strong enough to heal, even when it feels impossible. And here is the twist. When you start to heal yourself, everything else starts to shift too. Maybe your ex does not come running back. Maybe they do. But either way, you will be ready. You will be whole. You will be you. So if you are sitting there right now, wondering if a 7-day spiritual cleansing can fix your broken heart, let me offer you this. Try a little self-love first. Light a candle. Say a prayer. Feed someone who needs it. Walk in the quiet hours of the morning and let your soul breathe. You might be surprised at what happens when you stop looking for magic outside and start finding it within. And if you are still tempted to call up Madame Luna, hey, no judgment. We have all been there. But just remember, the most powerful healer you will ever meet is the one staring back at you in the mirror. If this story hit home, or if you have your own wild tales of psychic adventures and spiritual cleansings, drop a comment below. I would love to hear from you. And if you want more heart-to-heart stories and practical spiritual advice, hit that like button, subscribe to Fire Spiritual, and turn on those notifications so you never miss a moment of magic. Check out the link in the description for more ways to bring a little light back into your life. Remember, you are never alone on this journey. Stay strong, stay kind, and keep shining.